Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Bailey. I'm happy to have you here. I have been seeing everybody talk about their 5-star reads in the past 3 months because we are in April. April is actually crazy. I cannot believe this year has flown by so fast. I guess it is true what they say. The older you get, the faster it goes by. I really don't want to know how fast the years are going to go by when I'm 50. Ooh. Anyways, I have been seeing everyone talk about their 5-star reads of the past 3 months. And I want to go over my 5-star reads of the past 3 months because I just felt like that would be fun. It's kind of like memory lane. Here's the thing. When I start thinking about a book that I have read, I can remember it, right? But my problem is whenever I try to think back on the books that I have read, I always forget. So I think this is a fun way to kind of refresh our memories. There are some that have stuck with me like crazy. And then others that I'm like, I rated that a 5-star. Do I still think it's a 5-star? Has it stuck with me? So we're gonna go over the ones in the past 3 months from January 24 to March 24 that I rated 5 stars. We're gonna talk about if I think they are still 5-star books or if I think they could be knocked down a little bit, you know? So I think this should be interesting. Let's see how many books I have read this year so far. I've read 37 out of my goal of 100. I do put my goal at 100 every single year. It's just a goal that I know that I can personally hit. If I don't, it's not the end of the world. I mean, that's been pretty basic for me. It works, okay? Don't question it, it works. Out of the 37 books that I've read this year, 13 of them have been 5-star reads. That's actually crazy. That's amazing. Wow. Wow. Okay, we've had a pretty good rating year. I am a rater based on vibes, so keep that in mind. If the vibes are vibing, I'm vibing too. Let's just jump right into it and talk about all the books that I have rated 5 stars. All right, so this was my first, actually, I didn't rate this one 5 stars. I was straight up just about to lie to you, okay? I was about to lie to you and tell you I rated this book 5 stars when I rated it 4.5. This is also a good time for reflection, I feel like, because now the fact that I'm still thinking about this book to this day, I should have rated it 5 stars. I should have, but I didn't. And I will talk a little bit about it because of that reason. So, The Fabric of Our Souls by K.M. Morinova. I rated this book 4.5 stars because there was one little thing in it that didn't make sense to me. I'm not going to tell you what that is because I don't want to spoil the book for you. This is a thriller romance that follows Liam and Wynn in a mental institution, and there's a murder mystery aspect to it. There's a lot of mental health representation. Liam and Wynn get hot and heavy. I love mentally ill, hot and heavy books, okay? I don't know what that says about me. It says something, that's for sure. I rated this book 4.5 stars, and now that we are going over books that we rated 5 stars in January, February, and March, this would be a 5-star read for me. So I'm keeping this one on the list. I'm so sorry for fibbing to y'all. This is one of them that I would include. And then The Two of Us by Taylor Torres. This is a contemporary romance. This is told in past and present. And there is a huge thing that happens in the past that you don't find out about until the end of the book that affects the way that the main characters acted. The female main character, I believe her name was Mara, I can't remember, but she does not deal with her grief. She does not deal with her issues. She runs away from them. And this is the story of her and Ambrose and a shared trauma that they went through in their life whenever they were kids and how they reacted to that and how it was not a good thing, okay? Mara ran away from her issues and Ambrose was like, no, come back. But then he stayed back and let her do her thing. Basically best friends to I didn't talk to you for a while to lovers. And it was absolutely fantastic. It really hit on the grief aspect and I really loved the way that it described grief in this book. It was wonderful. I loved it. And then The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. Okay, this book, I had been seeing this on my shelf. It had been taunting me. It was saying, pick me, read me, choose me, love me. And I was like, no, I don't want to because I'm not here for a contemporary romance right now. I'm here for a dark romance because I was in my dark romance era. I've been in my dark romance era for years, but I just didn't feel like picking up a contemporary. Well, I told my older sister that I would read this book with her, that I would buddy read, and I put it off for like 3 months. I'm so sorry. But I finally picked it up and I loved it, okay? This story follows a woman whose aunt passes away and she's always heard these stories about how her aunt's apartment was a little bit magical And she never believed them because her aunt said that the apartment would take her into the past. Well, when her aunt passes away and leaves her the apartment, she moves in. And what happens? She goes 7 years into the past. And at that time, her aunt in the past was out of town. And so she had somebody subletting her apartment. I think that's what it's called, subletting. Hello. Do I know words? And it's a man, and he's her age, and he's a chef. The apartment doesn't just spit you back out in the past permanently. It decides when to bring you back and when to put you there. So it's very cool to have like real life with a hint of magic. It's just so magical, and it was just so wholesome, and I loved it so, so much. It was wonderful. And then we've got, oh, my baby. If you have been watching me for a while, you know that Magnolia Parks is one of my favorite series of all time. I adore this entire series. And even though Daisy is my favorite over Magnolia, I'm so sorry. But even though that is the case, I love Magnolia's books too. And I really feel like Into the Dark, the third and final book of Magnolia and BJ's, really tied everything together. Look, if there is one thing about Jessa Hastings, it is that she is not going to write perfect characters, okay? She is going to make you hate them. They're going to have to grow. They are going to have to go through it. They're going to have to learn and become better people. And that is exactly what she did with these characters. They were absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. I adore them. Magnolia and BJ just came so far. They really grew into who they were. This book, a lot of people were complaining about this book. Let's get into this. Tea. A lot of people were complaining about this book because it really centered around grief, but there was a need for that. Magnolia grew so much from her grief, and it was a beautiful, beautiful character arc for her. It was just, I know, I just love it, okay? I don't even know what to say. I just love it so, so much. I love imperfect characters. I love when the characters are just a little messed up like me, okay? Because God knows I'm not perfect. And these characters are not either. And I just love seeing that raw, vulnerable, I need to go to therapy type vibe, okay? And Magnolia Parks definitely has that. You've got to trust the process, and it will be so rewarding in the end. And I loved this. I need Daisy and Christian's next book immediately. Immediately, Jessa. I need you to get on it. Okay, thank you. And then I only pulled out one of them because it's my favorite copy of it. But the Curse of Opilia series, let's take a minute for this. Are you kidding? Hello? The Curse of Opilia series by Nicole Plantania. This series is phenomenal. Okay, I don't see enough people talking about it. This is an NA fantasy. It gets spicier as the books go along. There are only 3 books out right now. Nicole is working on the next book as we speak. Thank goodness, because I need it. We follow Ophelia, and Ophelia is from a group of people. They are all descendants of angels. Ophelia is cursed. Obviously, it's called the Curse of Ophelia. Context clues. Don't know why I was shocked when it happened. She is cursed, and she has to go on a journey with her friends and her sister in order to find the love of her life that went missing a couple of years ago, and in order to complete basically the ritual that makes her ascend into a full warrior with her full powers. And it's just absolutely fantastic. Here's the thing. I am a sucker for found family. I am a sucker for it. Okay, it is my favorite trope of all time. And this series does found family so well. I need more people to read it. I love it so, so much. It also really focuses on mental health, which I feel like isn't focused on as much in fantasy. I know it's starting to be talked about more, but it really focuses on mental health and how your friends can help you through things. And why do you hit yourself in the face with books? Why do you do that? It's absolutely wonderful. I'll shut up about it, but just read this series. It's amazing. Also, I got this on Amazon. This is the hardcover version. Fabulous. I love it. It's gorgeous. This is my baby. A Love Letter to Whiskey by Candy Steiner. Okay, here's the thing. This book is toxic. This book hurt me, but it made me happy in the end, okay? You know, you have those books where you're like, God, these characters annoy me, but you still read it in like record time and you cannot put it down, and it's just absolutely amazing, and you think about them all the time, and you're just, it's amazing. Yeah. Read it. Read it. It's amazing. This is Right Person, Wrong Time. The perfect example of Right Person, Wrong Time. They are toxic. They belong together and they know it, but they just won't allow themselves to be happy, and outside forces keep trying to keep them apart. And it's just, This is on Kindle Unlimited, but you have to read the 5th anniversary edition because it has extra content that really ties the whole story together and it gives you a happy ending. And I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Absolutely amazing. Angsty, tearjerker. I read this book. I started it at like 9 p.m. one night, I think it was, and I stayed up till 2 a.m. and then woke up first thing the next morning and read and finished it at like 11, I think it was. I don't remember exactly the times. Don't come for me. But it was absolutely fantastic. I could not put it down. I adore it. Now we are going to talk about the ones that I don't have physical copies of yet. I am waiting to get physical copies. Look, I'm reading on a budget, okay? I wish I was rich, but I am not. So here we are. We're making do with what we have, and Kindle Unlimited is amazing. I love it. So I'm gonna put it up on the screen. 5,000 Nights of Obsession by Drethy Anus. This is a dark Great Gatsby retelling. When I say dark, I mean this man is a psychopath, okay? He is crazy, but he is crazy about her. This book was not a 5-star read for me all the way through. About 70% of the way through, it became a 5-star read for me because the plot twist was crazy. I can't even explain why this is 100% a 5-star read to me. I just know it gave me the vibes. Okay, is it the most well-written book? No. Is it crazy? Yes. Did I have a great time? Yes. That's why it's 5 stars, so mind your business. And then another one that I don't have a physical copy of yet is The Isle of Sin and Shadows by Carrie Lake. I have not disliked a single Carrie Lake book that I have read. In fact, Nocticadia, it is right here, beautiful on my shelf, was one of my top reads of last year. I adore it. Amazing. And I knew going into another Carrie Lake book that I was probably gonna love it. Carrie Lake is one of those authors that gives you the perfect plot to spice ratio. It's always, the plot's always going and going and going. And the spice, when it hits, it's so good. It's so good. Isle of Sin and Shadows is based in Louisiana. It's in a fictional town in Louisiana, and it follows 2 people. One, a woman who she's been in hiding. Okay, her entire family was murdered. She is the only one, and she has not been back to her hometown since that happened because she is on the run. There are people that obviously don't want her to live. Rude. Thierry is the MMC, and he works for the cartel. Not really wanting to work for the cartel, but he has to. It's a whole thing. And he owns a nightclub, and she comes back into town and she catches his eye, and he decides he's going to protect her. And it is actually insane. This is a spooky book, okay? This is another thriller romance, and it was so spooky. There were times when I was reading in the dark and I had to turn the light on in my bedroom because I got a little scared. But it was so good, so incredibly well written. The plot twist at the end had me gasping. It was crazy. Carrie Lake, I love you. I'm in love with you, and I love your books. And then finally on the list is the Hollows Row trilogy by Trisha Wolfe. These books have been on my TBR for I don't even know how long, okay? They were way back, way back. I was supposed to read these forever ago, and I never did. So I finally picked them up because I was really in a thriller romance era, and I wanted them in my life. I needed them like I need water. Huh? I needed them in my life, and I finally picked them up. They're all on Kindle Unlimited, and I adore them, okay? These are like Criminal Minds meets Silence of the Lambs meets the TV show The Mentalist, and just absolutely all around freaking fantastic. The plot twists kept me on the edge of my seat. All of them had the perfect amount of spice too. They were not too spicy. They were not overly spicy. The plot was great. It follows a woman who gets into the heads of serial killers, okay? And she shows up on these sites where there are dead people, and she tries to help the police figure out what happened, the FBI figure out what happened. But she has trauma of her own, things that have happened in her past that she cannot face. And she ends up having to call on Callum, a professor. He's a philosophy professor, and she helped put him away for murder. Callum has just been waiting on her to call him out to play because he is obsessed with her in a delicious way. He shows up and he decides to help her, but he's also gonna get the girl. Think of him as like super intelligent, like from Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal Lecter, but super hot and tattooed and younger. and wears combat boots and just every punk rock girly's dream, okay? There were times in these books where I felt real dumb because they were talking about stuff that was way above my pay grade, but I just went with it and pretended like I understood, and then eventually I did understand. I feel like that helps me in books a lot too, especially in fantasy books when it's like heavy world building. I'm just like, oh yeah, I know what that means. And then I just move on, and eventually I will know what that means. Just use your context clues, you'll be fine. Didn't say I was smart. I just figure things out, okay? I just try to pretend. Very good at pretending that I'm smart. That's a lot of 5-star reads. That is way more than I thought I had this year. I've been trying to like sit on my ratings a little bit and not jump to wanting to rate something a 5-star because I used to do that criminally. I was a criminal 5-star rater, okay? And now I'm trying to really take my time and see if I really think it is a 5-star, and I think that that's benefiting me. Obviously not with The Fabric of Our Souls because I rated that 4.5 stars. What was I thinking? Hello? Anyways, we'll scold past Bailey later. She'll get a good talking to. It's been an amazing year. I really hope that the year continues to be this way. I either get really happy or really nervous if I have so many 5-star reads by a certain point because I'm like, okay, this could go one or two ways. This could go very, very badly and I could not find another one for a while, or it could go up from here and we're just reading bangers all year long, you know? So let's just pray that we don't get into a book slump, that we continue to read amazing books. Because there are so many out there. Can you imagine how many books it is that we still have to read in our lifetime? That actually stresses me out. Stresses me out. But in a good way. In a good way. My two personalities warring together. I hope that y'all enjoyed this video. I love being on this platform. I'm having so much fun. Let me know if there is anything in particular, by the way, that y'all want to see. And I would love to know if y'all rated any of these books 5 stars. If you hated them, don't tell me. I'm sensitive. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope that y'all had as good of a time listening to me yap as I did yapping to y'all. And I love you guys.